Good evening. Today I want to read a book titled Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Farmer Boy by Laura Ingalls Wilder, illustrated by Garth Williams. A Harper Trophy book, Harper and Row Publishers. Chapter 1, School Days. It was January in northern New York State, 67 years ago. Snow lay deep everywhere. It loaded the bare limbs of oak and maples and beeches. It bent the green boughs of cedars and spruces down into the drifts. Billows of snow covered the fields and the stone fences. Down a long road through the woods a little boy took to school with his big brother, Royal, and his two sisters, Eliza Jane and Alice. Royal was 13 years old, Eliza Jane was 12, and Alice was 10. Almanzo was the youngest of all, and this was his first going to school because he was not quite 9 years old. He had to walk fast to keep up with the others, and he had to carry the dinner pail. Royal ought to carry it, he said. He's bigger than I be. Royal strode ahead, big and manly in boots, and Eliza Jane said, "No, Manzo, it's your turn to carry it now, because you the littles." Eliza Jane was bossy. She always knew what was best to do, and she made Almanzo and Alice do it. Almanzo hurried behind Royal, and Alice hurried behind Eliza Jane. In the deep paths made by bobsled runners. On each side, the soft snow was piled high. The road went down a long slope, then it crossed a little bridge and went on for a mile through the frozen woods to the schoolhouse. The cold nipped Almanzo's eyelids and numbed his nose, but inside his good woolen clothes he was warm. They were all made from the wool of his father's sheep. His underwear was creamy white, but Mother had dyed the wool for his outside clothes. Butternut holes had dyed the thread for his coat and his long trousers. Then Mother had woven it, and she had soaked and shrunk the cloth into a heavy, thick, full cloth. Not wind, nor cold, nor even a drenching rain could go through the good, full cloth that Mother made. For Almanzo's waist, she had dyed fine wool as red as a cherry, and she had woven a soft, thin cloth. It was light and warm and beautifully red. Almanzo's long brown pants buttoned to his red waist with a row of bright brass buttons all around his middle. The waist collar buttoned snugly up to his chin, and so did his long coat of brown fur cloth. Mother had made his cap of the same brown fur cloth, with cozy ear flaps that dried under his chin. and his red mittens were on a string that went up the sleeves of his coat and across the back of his neck. That was so he couldn't lose them. He wore one pair of socks pulled snug over the legs of his underdrawers and another pair outside the legs of his long brown pants, and he wore moccasins. They were exactly like the moccasins that Indians wore. Girls tied heavy veils over their faces when they went out in the winter. But Almanzo was a boy, and his face was out in the frosty air. His cheeks were red as apples, and his nose were redder than a cherry. And after he had walked a mile and a half, he was glad to see the schoolhouse. It stood lonely in the frozen woods at the foot of Hardscrabble Hill. Smoke was rising from the chimney, and the teacher had shoveled a path through the snowdrift to the door. 5 big boys were scuffling in the deep snow by the path. Almanzo was frightened when he saw them. Royal pretended not to be afraid, but he was. They were the big boys from Hardscrabble settlement, and everybody was afraid of them. They smashed little boy sleds for fun. They catch a little boy and swing him by his legs, then let him go headfirst into the deep snow. Sometimes they made 2 little boys fight each other, though the little boys didn't want to fight and begged to be let off. These big boys were 16 or 17 years old, and they came to school only in the middle of the winter term. They came to trash the teacher and break up the school. They boasted that no teacher could finish the winter term in that school, and no teacher ever had. This year, the teacher was a slim, pale young man. His name was Mr. Corser. He was gentle and patient and never whipped little boys because they forgot how to spell a word. Almanzo felt sick inside when he thought how the big boys would beat Mr. Corser. Mr. Corser wasn't big enough to fight them. There was a hush in the schoolhouse, and you could hear the noise the big boys were making outside. The other pupils stood whispering together by the big stove in the middle of the room. Mr. Corser sat at his desk. One thin cheek rested on his slim hand, and he was reading a book. He looked up and said pleasantly, "Good morning." Royal and Eliza Jane and Alice answered him politely, but Almanzo didn't say anything. He stood by the desk, looking at Mr. Corser. Mr. Corser smiled at him and said, "Do you know I'm going home with you tonight?" Almanzo was too troubled to answer. "Yes," Mr. Corser said. "It's your father's turn." Every family in the district boarded the teacher for 2 weeks. He went from farm to farm till he had stayed 2 weeks each one. Then he closed school for the term. When he said this, Mr. Corser rapped on his desk with his rule. It was time for school to begin. All the boys and girls went to their seats. The girls sat on the left side of the room and the boys sat on the right side, with the big stove and wood box in the middle between them. The big ones sat in the back seats, the middle-sized ones in the middle seats, and the little ones in the front seats. All the seats were the same size. The big boys could hardly get their knees under the desk, and the little boys couldn't rest their feet on the floor. Almanzo and Miles Lewis were the premier class, so they sat on the very front seat and they had no desk. They had to hold up their primers in their hands. Then Mr. Corso went to the window and tapped on it. The big boys clattered into the entry, cheering and loudly laughing. They burst the door open with a big noise and swaggered in. Big Bill Ritchie was the leader. Big Bill Ritchie was their leader. He was almost as big as Almonso's father. His feet were as big as Almonso's father's feet. He stamped the snow from his feet and noisily tramped to a back seat. The 4 other boys made all the noise they could too. Mr. Corso didn't say anything. No whispering was permitted in school, and no fidgeting. Everyone must be perfectly still and keep his eyes fixed on his lesson. Almanzo and Mouse held up their primers and tried not to swing their legs. Their legs grew so tired that they edged, jangling from the edge of the seat. Sometimes one leg would kick suddenly before Almanzo could stop it. Then he tried to pretend that nothing had happened, but he could feel Mr. Corso looking at him. In the back seats, the big boys whispered and scuffled and slammed their books. Mr. Corso said sternly, "A little less disturbance. A little less disturbance, please." For a minute they were quiet, then they began again. They wanted Mr. Corso to try to punish them. When he did, all 5 of them would jump on him. At last the primer class was called, and Almanzo could slide off the seat and walk with Miles to the teacher's desk. Mr. Corso took Almanzo's primer and gave them words to spell. When Royal had been in the primer class, he had often come home at night with his hands stiff and swollen. The teacher had beaten the palm with a ruler because Royal didn't know his lesson. Then Father said, "If the teacher has to trust you again, Royal, I'll give you a thrashing you'll remember." But Mr. Corso never beat a little boy's hand with his ruler. When Almanzo couldn't spell a word, Mr. Corset said, "Stay in at recess and learn it." At recess, the girls were let out first. They put on their hoods and cloaks and quietly went outdoors. After 15 minutes, Mr. Corse rapped on the window and they came in, hung their wraps in their entry, and took their books again. Then the boys could go out for 15 minutes. They rushed out shooting into the cold. The first out began snowballing the others. All the head sleds crumbled up hard scramble hill. They flung themselves stomach down on the sleds and swooped down the long, steep slope. They upset into the snow. They ran and wrestled and threw snowballs and washed one another's face with snow. And all the time they yelled as loud as they could. When Almanzo had to stay in his seat at recess, he was ashamed because he was kept in with the girls. At noontime, everyone was allowed to move about the schoolroom and talk quietly. Eliza Jane opened the dinner pail on her desk. It held bread and butter and sausage, donuts and apples, and 4 delicious apple turnovers, their plum crust filled with melting slices of apple and spicy brown juice. After Almanzo had eaten every crumb of his turnover and licked his finger, he took a drink of water from the pail with a dipper in it on a bench in the corner. Then he put on his cap and coat and mittens and went out to play. The sun was shining almost overhead. All the snow was a dazzle of sparkles and the wood hollers were coming down Hardscrabble Hill. High on the bobsleds piled with logs, the men cracked their whips and shouted to their horses, and the horses shook jingles from their string of bells. All the boys ran shooting to fasten their sled to the bobsled runners, and boys who hadn't broke their sleds climbed up and rode on the loads of wood. They went merrily past the schoolhouse and down the road. Snowballs were flying thick. Up on the loads, the boys wrestled, pushing each other off into the deep drifts. Almanzo and Miles were shouting and on Miles' sled. It didn't seem a minute since they left the schoolhouse, but it took much longer to go back. First they walked, then they trotted, then they ran panting. They were afraid they'd be late. Then they knew they were late. Mr. Corso was with them all. The schoolhouse stood silent. They didn't want to go in, but they had to. They stole in quietly. Mr. Corso sat at his desk, and all the girls were in the places, pretending to study. On the boys' side of the room, every seat was empty. Almanzo crept to his seat in the dreadful silence. He held up his primer and tried not to laugh. He held up his primer and tried not to breathe so loud. Mr. Corser didn't say anything. Bill Ritchie and the other big boys didn't care. They made all the noise they could, going to their seats. Mr. Corser waited until they were quiet. Then he said, "I will overlook your tardiness this one time, but do not let it happen again." Everybody knew the big boys would be tardy again. Mr. Corser couldn't punish them because they could trust him, and that was what they meant to do. This is the end of chapter 1. Laura Ingalls Wilder, versi bahasa Indonesia, berjudul Anak Tani. Bab 1, Hari Sekolah. Bulan Januari sudah tiba di negara bagian New York Utara. 60 tahun yang lalu. Salju menumpuk tinggi di mana-mana. Salju memberati cabang pohon oak, maple, dan beech yang tak berdaun, serta melengkungkan cabang pohon cedar dan cemara yang hijau. Ladang dan pagar batu juga tertutup oleh timbunan salju yang tebal. Sepanjang jalan yang menembus hutan, seorang anak laki-laki kecil berjalan dengan susah payah ke sekolah. Dia disertai kakak laki-lakinya, Royal, serta kakak perempuannya, Eliza Jane dan Alice. Royal berumur 13 tahun, Eliza Jane 12 tahun, dan Alice 10 tahun. Almanzo yang paling kecil, umurnya belum ada 9 tahun. Dan ini adalah hari pertama dia pergi ke sekolah. Dia harus berjalan cepat agar tidak ketinggalan dari lain-lainnya. Dan dia harus membawa tromol tempat makanan. Seharusnya Royal yang membawa, katanya. Dia lebih besar daripada aku. Royal melangkahkan kaki di depan, kelihatan besar seperti laki-laki dewasa dengan sepatu bot. Eliza Jane berkata, "Tidak, Manzo, sekarang giliranmu membawa, karena kau yang paling kecil." Eliza Jane suka memerintah. Dia selalu mengetahui apa yang paling baik untuk dilakukan. Dan dia membuat Almanzo dan Alice melakukannya. Almanzo mempercepat jalannya di belakang Royal, dan Alice mempercepat jalannya di belakang Eliza Jane. Pada alur dalam yang dibuat oleh peluncur kereta salju. Di kiri kanan alur ini, salju yang lunak menumpuk tinggi. Jalan menuruni lereng yang panjang, kemudian melintasi sebuah jembatan kecil dan memanjang terus sejauh 1 mil, menembus hutan yang membeku ke rumah sekolah. Hawa dingin menyakitkan kelopak mata Almanzo dan membuat hidungnya terasa kaku. Tapi di dalam pakaian yang terbuat dari wol, badannya hangat. Pakaiannya dari wol yang dibuat dari bulu biri-biri milik ayahnya. Pakaian dalamnya putih susu, tapi ibu mencelup wol untuk pakaian luarnya. Benang yang dipakai untuk membuat mantel dan celana panjangnya dicelup dengan zat warna dari kulit sejenis buah-buahan. Kemudian, ibu menenun benang ini menjadi kain wol yang tebal. Baik angin maupun hawa dingin, atau bahkan hujan lebat tidak dapat menembus kain wol tenunan ibu. Untuk pinggang almanzo, ibu mencelup wol berwarna merah buah ceri, dan kemudian ditenunnya menjadi kain halus yang tipis. Kain ini ringan dan hangat, warna merahnya sangat indah. Celana panjang almanzo yang coklat dikancingkan ke pinggangnya yang merah dengan sederet kancing loyang yang berkilat-kilat. Kemejanya dikancingkan sampai ke dagu, demikian pula mantelnya yang terbuat dari kain wol coklat. Ibu membuat topinya dari kain coklat pula, dengan kelepak penutup telinga yang diikatkan di bawah dagu. Sarung tangannya yang merah diikatkan dengan tali melalui lengan mantelnya, terus sampai ke belakang lehernya. Dengan demikian, maka sarung tangannya tidak akan hilang. Dia memakai sepasang kaos kaki yang ditarik sampai ke atas celana dalamnya, dan sepasang lagi di luar kaki celana panjangnya yang coklat. Di luar kaos kakinya, dia memakai sepasang mokasin. Mokasin ini sama benar dengan yang dipakai orang India. Anak-anak perempuan memakai selendang yang tebal menutupi mukanya kalau mereka keluar dalam musim dingin. Tapi Almanzo anak laki-laki dan mukanya terbuka dalam udara bersalju. Pipinya merah seperti buah apel dan hidungnya lebih merah daripada buah ceri. Setelah berjalan sejauh 1,5 mil, dia senang sekali melihat rumah sekolah. Rumah sekolah berdiri terpencil di hutan yang membeku, di kaki bukit Harskrebel. Asap keluar dari cerobongnya dan guru sedang menyingkirkan salju. Dengan sekop untuk membuat jalan menuju ke pintu. 5 orang anak laki-laki besar berjalan dalam salju yang dalam di tepi jalan. Almanzo merasa takut waktu melihat mereka. Royal pura-pura tidak takut, tapi sebenarnya dia juga merasa takut. Anak-anak ini dari pemukiman Hardscrabble, dan semua takut kepada mereka. Mereka merusak kereta luncur anak-anak kecil, hanya untuk menyenangkan hati. Mereka menangkap seorang anak kecil dan mengayunkannya dengan memegangi kakinya. Kemudian melemparkannya kepala lebih dulu ke salju yang dalam. Kadang-kadang, mereka menyuruh 2 orang anak kecil berkelahi. Walaupun anak-anak kecil ini tidak mau berkelahi dan merengek-rengek minta dilepaskan. Anak-anak besar ini berumur 16 atau 17 tahun dan mereka baru masuk sekolah pada pertengahan masa sekolah musim dingin. Mereka membual bahwa tidak ada guru yang dapat menyelesaikan masa sekolah musim dingin di situ. Dan bualan mereka memang benar. Tahun ini, guru mereka seorang laki-laki muda yang kurus dan pucat. Namanya Pak Korse. Orangnya lemah, lembut, dan sabar. Dia tidak pernah mencambuk anak kecil karena mereka lupa bagaimana cara mengeja perkataan. Almanzo merasa perutnya sakit memikirkan bagaimana kalau anak-anak besar memukul Pak Korse. Pak Korse tidak cukup besar untuk melawan mereka. Dalam ruang kelas, anak-anak terdiam sehingga dapat terdengar suara ribut anak-anak besar di luar. Semua murid yang lain saling berisik Semua murid yang lain saling berbisik dekat Tungku di tengah ruangan. Pak Korse duduk menghadapi meja tulisnya. Sebelah pipinya yang kurus ditopang oleh tangannya yang kecil dan dia sedang membaca buku. Dia mengangkat mukanya dan berkata ramah, "Selamat pagi." Royal, Eliza Zen, dan Alice menjawab dengan sopan. Tapi Almanzo diam saja. Dia berdiri di sisi bangku melihat kepada Pak Korse. Pak Korse tersenyum kepadanya dan berkata, "Kau tahu nanti malam aku akan pulang bersamamu." Tapi pikiran Almanzo begitu rusuhnya sehingga dia tidak menjawab. "Ya," kata Pak Korse meneruskan. "Sekarang sudah tiba giliran ayahmu." Setiap keluarga di distrik itu menerima Pak Guru menumpang selama 2 minggu. Pak Guru berpindah-pindah dari satu perladangan ke perladangan lainnya. Setelah tinggal selama 2 minggu pada masing-masing keluarga, setelah itu masa sekolah ditutupnya. Sesudah mengatakan ini, Pak Korse mengetuk-etuk meja tulisnya dengan penggaris. Pelajaran akan segera dimulai. Semua murid pergi ke tempat mereka masing-masing. Anak-anak perempuan duduk di sebelah kiri ruangan dan anak-anak laki-laki di sebelah kanan ruangan. Dengan tungku besar dan tempat kayu di tengah di antara mereka. Anak-anak yang besar duduk di belakang, anak-anak yang agak kecil duduk di tengah, dan anak-anak kecil duduk di tempat duduk bagian depan. Semua tempat duduk berukuran sama. Anak-anak besar hampir tidak dapat memasukkan lututnya di bawah bangku, dan anak-anak kecil tidak dapat menginjakkan kakinya di lantai. Almanzo dan Miles Lewis baru masuk kelas pemulaan. Mereka duduk di tempat duduk paling depan dan tidak punya bangku. Mereka harus memegangi buku dengan tangannya. Kemudian Pak Korse pergi ke jendela dan mengetuknya. Anak-anak besar masuk dengan suara ribut, berteriak-teriak dan tertawa keras-keras. Mereka membuka pintu dengan mendobraknya dan melangkah masuk. Big Bill Ritchie adalah pemimpin mereka. Dia hampir sebesar ayah Almanzo, dan tinjunya pun sebesar tinju ayah Almanzo. Dia menghentak-hentakkan salju dari sepatunya dan dengan suara ribut berjalan ke tempat duduk belakang. Keempat temannya juga membuat suara yang seribut-ributnya. Pak Korse tidak mengatakan apapun. Dalam kelas tidak diperbolehkan berbisik. Demikian pula bergeser-geser di atas tempat duduk. Semua harus duduk tenang dan memusatkan perhatian kepada pelajaran. Almanzo dan Miles mengangkat buku bacaannya dan mencoba menahan diri agar tidak mengayunkan kakinya. Kaki mereka makin lelah sehingga terasa sakit, tergantung-gantung dari tempat duduk mereka, dari tepi tempat duduk. Kadang-kadang satu kaki tiba-tiba menendang dengan sendirinya sebelum dapat ditahan oleh Almanzo. Kemudian dia mencoba berpura-pura bahwa tak ada suatu apapun yang terjadi. Tapi dia dapat merasakan pandangan Pak Korse tertuju kepadanya. Di tempat duduk belakang, anak-anak besar berbisik-bisik, menggeser-geserkan kaki dan membanting bukunya. Pak Korse berkata dengan tegas, "Ku minta jangan terlalu ribut." Sesaat mereka tenang. Kemudian mereka mulai lagi. Mereka ingin agar Pak Korse mencoba menghukum mereka. Kalau ini dilakukan, mereka berlima akan mengerubutinya. Akhirnya kelas permulaan dipanggil. Almanzo merosot turun dari tempat duduk dan berjalan bersama Miles ke meja tulis Pak Korse. Pak Korse mengambil buku Almanzo dan memberi mereka perkataan untuk dieja. Waktu Royal duduk di kelas permulaan, dia sering pulang di waktu malam dengan tangan kaku dan bengkak. Guru memukul telapak tangannya dengan penggaris karena Royal tidak memahami pelajarannya. Waktu itu ayah berkata, "Kalau gurumu memukulmu lagi, Royal, kau akan kulabrak, sehingga kau tak dapat melupakannya seumur hidup." Tapi Pak Korse tidak pernah memukul tangan anak kecil dengan penggaris. Waktu Almanzo tidak dapat mengeja satu perkataan, Pak Korse berkata, "Tinggallah di kelas waktu istirahat dan belajar mengeja." Pada waktu istirahat, anak-anak perempuan keluar lebih dulu. Mereka mengenakan selendang dan mantel dan dengan diam-diam pergi keluar. Setelah 15 menit, Pak Korse mengetuk jendela lagi. Mereka masuk, menggantungkan mantel dan selendang di pintu masuk, dan mengambil buku mereka kembali. Kemudian, anak-anak laki-laki boleh keluar untuk istirahat selama 15 menit. Mereka berebut keluar ke hawa dingin sambil berteriak-teriak. Yang pertama keluar mulai melempari temannya dengan bola salju. Yang punya kereta luncur segera naik ke bukit Hardscrabble. Mereka tengkurap di atas keretanya dan meluncur turun sepanjang lereng yang terjal. Mereka jatuh ke dalam salju. Mereka lari dan bergulat serta berlempar-lemparan bola salju, melumari muka temannya dengan salju sambil berteriak-teriak sekeras-kerasnya. Almanzo harus tetap tinggal di kelas dalam waktu istirahat. Dia merasa malu karena tinggal di kelas bersama anak-anak perempuan. Pada tengah hari, semua murid diperbolehkan berkeliaran dalam ruang kelas dan bercakap-cakap perlahan-lahan. Eliza Jane membuka tempat makanannya di atas bangku. Isinya roti, mentega, dan sosis, donat, dan apel. Juga ada 4 potong manisan apel. Potongannya yang besar-besar berisi irisan apel dengan cairan manis yang coklat. Setelah Almanzo menghabiskan manisan apel bagiannya serta menjilat-jilat jarinya, dia minum air dari ember yang terletak di atas bangku di sudut dengan gayung. Kemudian dia mengenakan topi, mantel, dan sarung tangannya, terus pergi keluar untuk bermain-main. Matahari bersinar hampir tepat di atas kepala. Salju tampak berkilat-kilat menyilaukan dan para penarik kayu sedang menuruni bukit Hardscrabble. Tinggi di atas kereta salju yang penuh dengan tumpukan kayu gelondongan, orang melecutkan cambuk dan berteriak kepada kudanya. Dan kuda menggoyangkan lonceng-lonceng kecil yang berbunyi gemerincing. Semua anak laki-laki lari sambil berteriak untuk mengikatkan kereta luncur masing-masing ke peluncuran kereta salju. Anak-anak yang tidak membawa kereta luncur naik dan duduk di atas muatan kayu. Dengan riang gembira, mereka terus melewati rumah. Dengan riang gembira, mereka terus melewati rumah sekolah dan terus meluncur sepanjang jalan. Bola salju yang besar-besar berterbangan. Di atas muatan kayu, anak-anak bergulat, saling mendorong temannya ke timbunan salju. Almanzo dan Miles naik kereta luncur milik Miles sambil berseru-seru. Rasanya seperti baru 1 menit mereka meninggalkan rumah sekolah. Tapi untuk kembali memerlukan waktu yang lebih lama. Mula-mula mereka berjalan, kemudian lari-lari kecil, kemudian berlari, terengah-engah. Mereka takut jangan-jangan terlambat. Kemudian mereka tahu bahwa mereka benar-benar telah terlambat. Pak Korse akan mencambuk mereka semua. Dalam sekolah sunyi senyap, mereka tidak ingin masuk, tapi mereka harus masuk. Maka masuklah mereka diam-diam tanpa suara. Pak Korse sedang duduk menghadapi meja tulis dan semua anak perempuan ada di tempat masing-masing, pura-pura sedang belajar. Pada bagian untuk anak laki-laki, semua tempat duduk kosong. Almanzo naik ke tempat duduknya dalam kesunyian yang mencekam. Dia mengangkat bukunya dan berusaha agar tidak bernafas keras-keras. Pak Korse tidak mengatakan apa-apa. Bill, Richie, dan anak-anak besar lainnya tidak peduli. Mereka ribut seperti biasa waktu kembali ke tempat duduknya. Pak Korse menunggu sampai mereka semua tenang, kemudian dia berkata, "Kali ini, aku tidak akan menghukum kalian karena terlambat. Tapi, jangan sampai ini terjadi lagi." Semua tahu bahwa anak-anak besar akan terlambat lagi. Pak Korse tidak dapat menghukum mereka karena mereka dapat memukulinya. Dan memang itulah yang mereka inginkan.